Don't ask me why I'm shaking my hand. So, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I'm not going to go full webcam for this. We're just going to talk like this. So we all know how my life has been going the past few months. It's been pretty not fantastic in a lot of ways. So, there were a lot of just days where I was, not in a good place. I talked about before the self-harming and how it kind of made a triumphant return. Sari internalizes rage. That's exactly what I do, actually. I internalize a lot. And it comes exploding out years later, where it sends me to a psychiatric hospital. We've talked about that one. So, I am bad, I know. Truly some greater foes. So, we talked about how the self-harm made a return. And, that's not a good thing. But, it seems things are slowly but surely getting better. I told you guys a while back about this girl that I met at work one day and how she kind of impacted my life in a major way. And now she's in the chat now. She might be in the chat now. She might be in the chat now still. She might have already gone to bed. I don't know which one. But we've talked for a few months. We've gotten along, helped each other through difficult times. And of course, that makes anyone see another person in a positive light or see them in a better light. And just, I forget how long ago it was, 3 weeks, a month ago, maybe, I made my best attempt at asking her out. And it was a very weirdly worded thing, and I'm not going to give the specifics on that. But finally she said yes after a few weeks. And so we have a date planned for next week, and I'm really excited for it. And it's going to be the first actual date I've ever been on. Like, I've told stories of exes before, and, the first person I ever dated, it was a long-distance relationship. And she did end up moving here, but, like, it was never, like, a first date kind of thing. We just kind of knew each other from online, and we all know how that turned out. But so next week is the first actual date I've ever had in my life. Had a hell of a time earlier today kind of planning it out with her. And it's nice to have met someone who kind of matches my own, I don't know what the term is for it. Just interest, I guess. I'm trying to think of the proper way to put it. I've talked about how kind of a hopeless romantic I always have been. Last relationship, yeah, that was a problem. But it's nice to have met someone who kind of shares the same mentality and, just has already made me a much happier person. And I'm hoping that that's going to continue. We've talked a lot about this, and I'm excited for the future. Again, for the first time in months. Really, I'm pretty flat for a white guy, thanks. I know I'm leaned way far forward right now, but I'm in my thinking pose, so, but, yeah, just right now, these past 2 days, it was just a random text she sent me at one point. On that day, I ended up sending her a text about how my thing for Medicaid finally came in the mail. And we just talked all that day while I was at work. And we just ended up talking and kind of clicked a little bit. And so she sends me this message close to the end of the night. Just kind of like, oh, hey, remember that time you kind of asked me out? Let me know when you want to do that. And at that point I was like, oh my god, she remembered. And I was kind of floored by it. And then we just spent all weekend kind of talking, and it turns out this could potentially be a very beautiful thing. And I'm so excited for it, and I'm so happy that I met her. And the thing is, all the things that have happened to me in the past, the things that led up to me being in a psychiatric hospital, to trying to end my life, the things that led up to that, all of that is worthwhile now, because I never would have met her if not for that. I never would have met her or known her if I didn't have the scars that I have on my arm. And that is absolutely 100% the truth. And it's so crazy to see that something so negative, something that I should be very ashamed of and try to hide from the world, something like that could end up being a positive. And I have no idea what to think of that. But, you know, in a weird way, I'm happy that those sorts of things did happen. You know, I'm happy that, well, I guess, yeah, I am kind of happy that life was kind of shitty at one point. It's not just at one point, but from when I was a wee lad onward and up until, I mean, it got better back in February. We all remember that one person who I'll not name. But things were great up until then, and then suddenly they weren't. And I went back to that really dark place that I was afraid of. I went back there, and I was starting to kind of pull out of it, but I was having issues. Like, my mental health suffered overall. I came dangerously close to being put back into a mental hospital. That's the absolute truth. I've called crisis lines. I got my work employee assistance program involved. And it's not even me who got them involved. It was actually her that kind of got the ball rolling on that and helped me out on that. And I want to point out right now that as happy as I was in my previous relationship, as happy as I thought I was, not once did that other person show me the caring and compassion that this person has shown me. And I am infinitely grateful for that. I would not trade it for anything in the world, and I am so happy that it's happened. And I'm just really excited for what the future holds. So, you know, that's just what's been on my mind. That's what I've wanted to talk about. I'll probably end up talking about it a little more, but I'm glad I got it out now. And oh my god, I'm actually fucking tearing up. Holy shit. I actually do need to check one thing. Okay, we're good. We're great. We're fantastic. Yeah. The white at the end. The white at the end of the tunnel. Son of a bitch. The light at the end of the tunnels. Jesus. Alright. I was actually thinking of something. What was I thinking? What Ryan said, because I'm not smart. You know, it's absolutely crazy to me to think that my life did this weird 180 where I felt so miserable and just hated living and was seriously contemplating. And I told you guys about this. I had a whole stream one day where I just ended up talking about how I wanted to actually go through with it this time, you know, the life-ending thing. And now it's completely 180'd. I want nothing more than to live, just to experience this. The white privilege at the end of the tunnel. And if this is how it is at the start, I can't wait to see what it's going to be like later. I genuinely cannot wait. But it's all gonna hinge, maybe won't all hinge. that first date is definitely going to be a thing. We talked about it, kind of planned it out. It's going to be a movie, dinner, and end it all in a park. End it all. In this context, it sounds really fucking bad. Okay, and try to put it off as long as possible, dealing with the leaky face. Of course, I could sit here and talk about this for hours, and it is really calming to me to talk about it. And, you know, I'd say it out loud, and that makes it real, which is why I do this. Saying these things out loud gives me the chance to really process these things. And, you know, it's good to be processing it now, I guess. Let's do that so you can have some sort of visual. And guys, I do have to tell you, she is an amazing person. One of the most amazing people I have ever met in my life. I think I told you guys about that letter I wrote where I explained to her there were a few people in my life that were really influential. That's true, Ryan. I wrote her this letter a while back, a few months ago. And I explained to her how there have only ever been a few people in my life who have made a positive impact. Of course, one of them was a guy in a mental hospital, so take that as you will. But the other one was the guy who was going to be my stepfather, who ended up kind of treating me as if I were his own. And then the third person was her, and the reason she was that was because she made me look at what I was doing to myself in a new light, and made me really want to change what was going on. And again, that didn't happen previously, which is absolutely crazy to think. Like, I had that realization at the end of that relationship that I ended up putting a lot more into it than I was getting out. And now out of this person, I've gotten equal amounts, if not more, than what I've put in. And that's fucking amazing. Whew. Okay. We're ready to do this? I think we're ready to do this. And the thing is, okay, so we'll finish it off on this thought because I don't want to be here too long. One-on-one, there's no way I would be able to say these things. There's just those inhibitions there that make me not want to say them. I can say all of these amazing things to a person in either a text form and in a form that's more anonymous, where I'm talking to a whole group. But when it comes to one-on-one, when it comes to just that connection with someone, I struggle with doing that. And that's something that I really want to overcome for this. And so hopefully, in the back of my mind, I'm hoping she's still kind of here, just to hear it. But at the same time, I'm terrified, like, oh my god, what's she going to think? Is she going to block my number? That's also, yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. Yeah, just right now, in this moment, in the past couple of days, in those moments, I have been so happy. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. So let's get back to some fucking games. Let's stream this for a little while longer. If somebody could tell me my uptime, that would be great.